Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast.
Today, we are covering a monumental chapter, Chapter 100, The Legend Has Begun.
And what a legend. We've had a lightning strike, a near execution, and now, when Luffy is completely cornered by a power he can't even touch, a mysterious man in a green cloak just steps out of the shadows and saves him.
A man the world government is actively hunting. A man named Dragon.
If you believe in destiny, if you think this story is bigger than any one person, you're going to want to stick around for this breakdown. Follow the show because you are not going to want to miss the moment we finally enter the Grand Line together. Now let's get into it.
The chapter opens in the storm with a cloaked figure. We don't see his face, just his silhouette against the rain-swept streets of Logetown. The narration here is one of the most famous quotes in the entire series. It talks about things that cannot be stopped, an inherited will, the tide of an era, and a person's dreams. As long as people continue to seek the meaning of freedom, these things will never cease to be.
Goosebumps every single time. It's Oda just laying the thesis statement for the entire story right on the table. It's not just about a treasure hunt, it's about something bigger, something that passes from one generation to the next. And then, this cloaked figure, this complete mystery man, overhears some Marines freaking out about how Luffy smiled on the execution platform, just like Gold Roger did.
He has the exact same thought as Smoker, realizing the parallel between Luffy and the former Pirate King.
And this figure just says, Pirate King? Not a bad idea. Bro, the confidence, the casualness. He's standing in the middle of a hurricane. Marines are running everywhere. A kid just survived a divine lightning strike, and this guy is just observing. It's like he's watching a flower sprout through concrete and just nodding in approval. There's no surprise, no shock. It's like he expected something like this to happen.
It immediately sets the tone. This isn't just a story about a boy in a straw hat anymore. There are larger forces at play, watching him. This man isn't a pirate. He isn't a Marine. He's something else entirely, a third party on the world stage, and he has an interest in Luffy. This opening establishes that Luffy's journey has galactic-level stakes, even if he doesn't know it yet.
Speaking of forces of nature maybe, Buggy is back up. The dude got hit by lightning, a direct hit from the heavens that vaporized the execution platform, and he is just annoyed that Luffy got away. That's it. He's just brushing soot off his shoulders like it was a minor inconvenience.
His resilience is almost admirable in its absurdity. He has this gag character invincibility that rivals even Luffy's main character plot armor. Alvida's there with him, and she's the practical one, pointing out that the Marines are closing in, and they need to escape. She seems to be the only one with a functioning brain cell in their little alliance.
But Buggy's on a one-track mind. He wants to burn the Going Merry. He can't get Luffy, so he'll get the next best thing. And then he turns into the Buggy car, which is still one of the funniest, most creative, and frankly, most horrifying things Oda has ever drawn. His bottom half becomes the wheels and chassis, his torso is the main body of the car, and his hands are just holding on to his head at the front. It's brilliant.
Alvida doesn't even question it. She just slides right after him on the wet ground, using her slippery powers to create a frictionless path. It's a very effective visual, this bizarre clown car and his slippery partner careening towards the harbor. But their grand, dramatic escape is short-lived.
Not even a little short-lived. It's immediately over. It's like one panel of them starting to move, and the very next panel, bam, they're caught. Smoker is just there, standing in their path like a brick wall, and he nets them. Both of them, Kabaji, the entire Buggy crew, just like that. One and done.
It's an incredible display of competence. We've spent so many chapters with these East Blue villains who posture and monologue. Smoker doesn't waste time. He sees a problem, he solves it. Period. And this is where we get a massive piece of world building. Alvida complains her devil fruit isn't working, that she can't slip through the net. She's completely powerless.
And Buggy, of all people, is the one to explain it. He's panicking, yelling, "It's Seastone! I heard a rumor about it." This is the first time we're hearing this term. It's a substance that emits the same energy as the sea itself. The Marines developed it specifically to capture devil fruit users.
Okay, but think about what this means. This is a game changer. For the last 100 chapters, a devil fruit has been presented as this ultimate trump card. If you have one, you're a Superman. You can stretch, you can split apart, you're fire, you're smoke. The one great advantage devil fruit users have, their near invincibility against normal people, now has a direct physical counter that the government controls.
It raises the stakes for everyone. It's not just about being strong anymore. You have to be smart. You can't just rely on your fruit. The Marines aren't just a bunch of guys with swords and flintlocks. They have a specialized technology, a resource designed specifically to nullify your greatest strength. It's like their version of kryptonite.
It's a strategic resource, and that's the key. Where does it come from? Is it rare? Can you forge it into different things? Smoker has a net woven with it, and a weapon tipped with it. This implies a level of industrial and scientific advancement from the world government that we haven't seen before. They're not just a military power, they're a technological one.
And the fact that we learn about it here, in Logetown, is so perfect. It's the last stop before the Grand Line. It's Oda's way of telling us the rules you learned in the East Blue, they're about to change. The training wheels are off. This is the new normal. Get used to it.
Exactly. Smoker having it here isn't a coincidence. It's a deliberate placement by the Navy. They put their best anti-pirate, anti-devil fruit technology at the choke point, the very gate to the Grand Line.
Meanwhile, at the harbor, Richie the Lion and Moji are trying to carry out Buggy's last order, set the Mary on fire. But the storm that Dragon was so calmly observing is now working in the Straw Hats' favor. The rain is so heavy that it's putting out the torches as soon as they light them. The world itself is protecting this ship.
It's another one of those moments that feels like destiny, or perhaps just incredible luck. And then, just as they're about to try again, a figure appears on the deck. Usopp has arrived.
Yes! Looking cool as heck with his new goggles. He got them back in Logetown and he just looks like a proper sniper now. He doesn't even have to fight them, really. This isn't a big dramatic showdown. It's pure Usopp. He sees Moji holding a torch over a barrel of oil, ready to burn the ship down.
And he fires an egg from his slingshot. It splatters right in Richie's face. The lion is so disgusted by the smell and the taste that he just roars in frustration.
And Moji, the beast tamer, is so startled by his own lion's roar that he just slips on the rain-slick deck and knocks himself out cold on the railing. That's it. Fight over. Victory for Captain Usopp.
It's a perfect Usopp victory. It's not through brute force, but through cleverness, timing, a bit of luck, and using the enemy's own momentum against them. He understood the situation, identified the weak points, the animal's senses, and the tamer's incompetence, and exploited them flawlessly.
Nami shows up right after, having finished her shopping, and 2 of our crew are back where they belong. It's such a relief to see them back on the ship. The Mary is their home, their 6th crew member, really. Seeing it safe is a huge win. But the other 3, they're still in the thick of it.
Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji are sprinting through the streets with what looks like the entire Marine force of Logetown on their tail when Tashigi intercepts them, blocking their path.
And she doesn't address them as a group. She calls Zoro out directly for lying to her in the weapon shop, for pretending he wasn't a pirate. She says she's going to take his swords, specifically the Wado Ichimonji, one of the great grade swords.
This is personal for her. It's not just about arresting a pirate. It's about her ideals, her belief that famous swords, Maito, have a soul, and they shouldn't be in the hands of a villain who uses them for personal gain. She sees herself as a protector of these legendary blades.
Sanji, ever the gentleman, immediately jumps in. He gets right in Zoro's face, yelling at him for even thinking about raising a sword against a woman. It's his code, and in any other situation, it would lead to a classic Zoro-Sanji argument right there in the middle of the street.
But not this time. In a moment of pure, undiluted captain energy, Luffy just grabs Sanji by the collar of his shirt, yanks him back, and keeps running. No words, no debate, just action.
That panel is so good. Sanji's got his leg up ready to kick Zoro, and Luffy just hooks him like a piece of luggage and drags him along. It's such a brilliant character moment for Luffy. He doesn't have time for this. He trusts Zoro to handle his own business. He knows the goal is the ship, and he's not letting anything, not even his crewmates' personal codes, distract from that mission.
It shows a level of maturity we haven't seen before. He understands delegation. He knows Zoro's fight is with her, and his fight is with the ticking clock. He can trust Zoro to handle it and catch up.
That's the kind of trust that makes this crew so powerful. Luffy doesn't need to ask. He doesn't need to check in. He just knows Zoro's got it. And man, does he have it.
The fight is not a fight. It's an execution, just not a lethal one.
Tashigi charges, but he parries it effortlessly. He's not even trying. She is completely, utterly outclassed. He defeats her in an instant, tripping her and pinning her against the wall with the flat of his blade at her throat.
He tells her he'll never lose his sword, but he doesn't kill her. He doesn't even seriously injure her. And that just makes her angrier.
She's humiliated. She demands to know why he won't cut her down. She thinks it's because she's a woman, that he's looking down on her, that he's not taking her seriously as a swordswoman. It's the ultimate insult to her. And Zoro just explodes. All that quiet simmering we've seen from him whenever she's around, it all boils over. He yells at her to stop imitating his dead friend.
This is the first time he's ever verbalized the connection to another person. He's not just seeing a Marine who looks like Kuina. He's seeing someone who shares her face, her dream of collecting famous swords, but from his perspective, lacks the conviction and strength to back it up. It's like a ghost is haunting him and he can't stand it.
And it's true. She does look exactly like Kuina from his flashback. For him to say it out loud, that's a huge character beat. It confirms that this isn't just a passing resemblance. It's a core part of his inner conflict. He's carrying that weight, that promise he made, every single day. And now it has a face that's chasing him.
It's a painful moment for both of them. It reduces this clash of ideals, pirate versus marine, to a raw, emotional outburst born from Zoro's personal trauma. He leaves her there not with a sense of victory, but with frustration and unresolved grief. He didn't win a fight. He just lashed out at a painful memory.
He leaves her to catch up with Luffy and Sanji, who have run straight into a literal wall of smoke. It billows out from an alley, completely blocking their path to the harbor.
Smoker. He's cut them off. He dealt with Buggy and Elvita in seconds and was already in position to intercept Luffy. He is always one step ahead.
And this is where everything grinds to a halt. The frantic chase scene becomes a terrifying static confrontation. Smoker grabs Luffy with an arm made of smoke, and Sanji's kick just goes right through it. It does nothing. There's no impact. It's like trying to kick a cloud.
This is our first real direct confrontation with a devil fruit user whose body is made of an element. We've seen their power from a distance, but we've never seen the crew try to fight one. And the result is devastating. They are completely helpless.
They can't touch him. They physically cannot land a blow. Luffy throws a punch, his signature move, and his fist just disappears into Smoker's torso, which turns to smoke around it. The look on Luffy's face, it's not fear, it's not anger, it's just pure, unfiltered confusion. This breaks his entire understanding of how a fight works.
It completely breaks the rules of fighting as he understands them. His strength, his core attribute, the thing that has solved every problem so far, is rendered completely and utterly useless. He might as well be punching the air.
Smoker is just bored by it all. He uses his white blow attack, sending a high-pressure jet of smoke that just slams Sanji into a building, taking him out of the fight instantly. He's taken out one of the monster trio without even trying. This guy is a monster.
He then pins Luffy to the ground with his jutei, his primary weapon, and we can see from the way Luffy instantly weakens and complains he's losing his strength that the tip must be made of Seastone. Smoker has him completely immobilized.
It's over. They lost. There's no lightning strike this time. There's no one to intervene. It's the middle of the street, and Smoker has him dead to rights. He raises his weapon for the final blow, saying, "Your luck's run out."
And then a man in a green cloak steps into the frame, the same figure from the beginning of the chapter.
He just grabs Smoker's arm with his bare hand, stops him cold. Smoker is shocked. He was about to execute the most wanted man in the East Blue, and some random guy just walked up and stopped him. He asks who he is.
And the man just says his name is Dragon. He finally reveals himself.
Dragon. What a name. It just sounds legendary. And Smoker knows him. He's stunned. Why would a man like you be here? He knows this man, Dragon, is someone the world government is looking for. This isn't some random person. This is a major player on the world stage, probably one of the most wanted people on the planet.
Dragon doesn't seem to care. He doesn't answer Smoker's question. Instead, he looks at Luffy, pinned on the ground, and says, "The world is waiting for our answer."
Our answer? Whose answer? What is the question? He says ours. Is he talking about him and Luffy? Is Luffy part of some grand plan he doesn't even know about? This is huge. It completely reframes everything.
Before we can even process that line, a massive, unnatural gust of wind just erupts out of nowhere. It's not normal wind. It's a sudden, violent gale that blows everyone and everything away. It's depicted as this focused burst of power.
It's a literal deus ex machina. It sweeps up Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji and carries them like leaves in a storm, literally blowing them towards the harbor. It blows the Marines away. It clears the path. It's a miracle, a second one in the span of an hour.
Or it's a power. Smoker is left there, the only one still standing besides Dragon, demanding to know why. Why did he, this wanted man, help a pirate? They should be on different sides.
And Dragon's answer? Oh man. He just turns his head and says, "What reason is there to stop a man from setting out to sea?" It gives me chills every time I read it. He sees what's happening. He sees Luffy's destiny, this unstoppable dream, and just lets it happen. Protects it, even. He's a gatekeeper of freedom.
He's some kind of revolutionary, we can infer that much. Someone who directly opposes the world government. And for some reason, he sees something in this goofy kid from the East Blue that is worth protecting, worth revealing his location to a powerful Marine for. There is a deep, profound connection here that is yet to be explained.
So the crew makes it to the Going Merry. The wind literally deposits them on the street right in front of the ship. Nami and Usopp are there yelling for them to hurry. They all pile on board and set sail, finally escaping Logtown for good.
But they're not alone in their ambition. On his ship, Smoker, furious at being interfered with, declares he's going after them. He says he's never let a pirate get away from him in his jurisdiction, and he won't start now. He's abandoning his post and following Luffy into the Grand Line, and Tashigi, recovering from her encounter with Zoro, says she'll do the same. She needs to get Wado Ichimonji back. She has to prove herself.
And they're not the only ones. Buggy, freed by his crew in the chaos of the storm, gets everyone together and declares they're going back to the Grand Line too, to get revenge on Luffy. Everyone is converging on the same path. It's a race.
It feels like the end of the prologue. Oda is taking all the significant surviving pieces from the East Blue, the rival, the gag villain, the ideological pursuer, and moving them onto the main chessboard of the Grand Line. The starting zone is officially cleared.
And then we get the final scene, the perfect, most iconic end to the entire East Blue Saga. The crew is safely at sea. The storm has passed. They spot a lighthouse that signals the entrance to the Grand Line, the mountain you have to sail up, Reverse Mountain.
They gather around a barrel on the deck. It's a moment of quiet reflection before they face the impossible. Luffy says it's time to make their pledge.
And one by one, they put a foot on the barrel and declare their dreams out loud. It's a ceremony. Luffy, grinning his signature grin, to be king of the pirates.
Zoro, calm and determined, to become the world's greatest swordsman.
Nami, with a hopeful smile, to draw a map of the entire world.
Usopp, trying to look tough but full of heart, to become a brave warrior of the sea.
And Sanji, cigarette in his mouth, cool as ever, to find the All Blue.
It's a promise, a vow they make to each other and to themselves as they face the most dangerous sea in the world. This is their moment of incorporation. They are no longer just 5 individuals traveling together. They are a crew, united by the sheer audacity of their ambitions.
This is it. This is the moment. This is why we read One Piece. The formation of the Straw Hat Pirates is now complete. Their goals are set. Their resolve is unbreakable. This right here, this one moment is just super.
It's the distillation of the entire series' theme. Dreams, ambition, and the bonds of Nakama. Oda could have ended the chapter with their escape, but he gave us this. A quiet, powerful, character-driven scene that defines who they are and why we root for them. Chapter 100. The legend has begun. He couldn't have picked a better title or a more perfect final scene.
Absolutely perfect. End of an era, beginning of everything else. Wow. Okay, that was a ride. I need a minute and a cola.
It really was. So much happened, so many new questions were raised, and it ended on such a powerful emotional high.
For sure. If you've got a dream you're chasing, let us know what it is in the comments below. We want to hear it. All right, Robin, after a chapter like that, what could possibly happen next? Predictions.
Okay, my first one is about Dragon. His appearance was too specific, too personal. He didn't just save a random pirate. He looked at Luffy with a certain recognition. He's not just a random revolutionary who happened to be there. I predict we will learn he has a direct personal connection to Luffy. I don't know if it's family or if he was a member of Roger's crew and knew something about the Straw Hat, but his intervention was not a coincidence.
Ooh, I like that. A personal connection. That would recontextualize this whole scene from an act of political convenience to something deeply personal. Okay, my first prediction is about the Grand Line itself. We're going to see just how different it is immediately. I'm talking crazy weather that changes in an instant, or a giant sea monster that makes the ones in the calm belt look like goldfish, or an island that makes no logical sense. The very first thing they encounter is going to establish the new insane rules of the sea, and it's going to nearly sink them.
That seems very likely. The East Blue is called the weakest sea for a reason. For my second prediction, I'm focusing on Smoker. He is not going to be a simple recurring villain like Buggy. He's presented as competent, powerful, and principled. The fact that he asked Dragon why shows he has his own code of justice that isn't just blind obedience. I predict his pursuit of Luffy will lead him to question the world government's definition of justice, especially when he sees who they're willing to protect. He'll become a reluctant, occasional ally, an antagonist, but not a true enemy.
A GARP for Luffy's generation. I can see that. That's a super deep cut. For my final prediction, I think we're going to meet a warlord very, very soon. We've had them teased since Mihawk showed up at the Barati, this concept of government-sanctioned pirates. We know they're a major power in the Grand Line. I think the crew's first major obstacle, their first big arc in the Grand Line, will involve one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Maybe even the one who hurt Nami's village, Arlong's old boss. No wait, that was Jinbei. Maybe Crocodile? I feel like his name was mentioned somewhere back in Logetown. That's my bet. We're heading for a desert.
And for my last prediction, it's about the bigger picture. Dragon said the world is waiting for our answer. I think our refers to a group of people, maybe these revolutionaries who know some kind of truth that the government has suppressed. And I predict the answer they're waiting to give is a revelation that will shatter the foundations of the world government. By saving Luffy, Dragon has essentially bet on him, that Luffy's journey to become Pirate King is somehow intertwined with this larger revolution. He's now a part of that, whether he knows it or not.
Bro, that's heavy. But after chapter 100, anything feels possible. The board has been set, the pieces are moving, and the greatest adventure in the world is about to begin. The legend has begun, and we're here for every single step of the journey.
That's all the time we have for today. Join us next time as we sail head-on into Reverse Mountain.
Thank you for listening to Inherited Dawn.
Stay super, everyone.